Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fredonia, New York for tonight's Board of Trustees meeting, regular meeting. Tonight is October 28, 2024 at 7 p.m. I'm your Mayor, Michael Ferguson. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Call roll. Trustee Brockler. Here. Trustee Twitchell.
Here.
Trustee Syracuse.
Here.
Trustee Esperson.
Here.
Trustee Wandell.
Here.
Thank you. Call this meeting to order. Approval of minutes.
Whereas members of this board have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of October 15th, 2024. Now therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye. This portion of the meeting is for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak once recognized shall stand at the microphone and state their name and address. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes of speaking for themselves or 5 minutes of speaking on behalf of a group. I will ask the speakers to refrain from remarks that are in poor taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board.
First speaker is Rob Clark, Fredonia.
Thank you, Mayor. You guys look great. Makes all feel young. I'd love to talk about my trip to Vermont, the distilleries and breweries I visited, and some of the sustainability things they do with their water and systems. In one particular place that uses 200,000 pounds of honey every year to make vodka, and it's just to boost the bee population, because it's not the low price leader honey. But that's not on the agenda. It's October 2024, more than a year after what I think of as the ill-fated water conversation got off into the mainstream. It's now gone regional over water production, distribution, availability, infrastructure maintenance, and billing, with almost no reliable facts on which to base opinions. Regional customers are unhappy with service. We've got one guy with his whole hands in every pie and several others spouting off on how much we can save doing things their way without showing any of their work. It's out of control and starting to look like a food fight. Do you still have food fights at the high school? We used to, cheese especially. The financials all the way to the top are a mess. But you want to know who's going to get soaked? Anybody connected to the county water district. That's who's going to pay for this mess. Anybody connected to the county water district. I don't think there's ever been a better time to have our own water supply, given what's going on in the region. Now, regarding passing a resolution that does nothing, because why not? It's probably because putting your names on it could put us on the hook for covering the cost. If by some chance the study does get done, please be careful to look over all the ramifications of whatever the engineers determine needs to be done to the Fredonia water system in order to pair it with underperforming North County Water District, especially when it comes to pressure and availability. And could we please get a straight answer on the function and usability of the existing interconnects? And on a positive note, that top coat looks good. They're putting down on the nice black road. I think that looks pretty nice.
Thank you.
I still have 50 seconds. So they're mixing this rye whiskey with Armagnac barrels, and it softens it beautifully. It's very, very expensive. But if you can find a bottle of vodka, give it a try.
Except for the students here at First Row.
Well, they're seniors.
Well,
Well, you can't drink yet, can you?
no.
When I was a senior, I could drink, but they changed the rules.
Whether it was illegal or not. James Linden.
fall on here. Good evening, James Linden. I too wish to vote, or actually table the resolution for the support of another study for the water. You've already spent $144,000 for a study that you walked away from. Now you're pushing on another addition to that study, different from all the other views. And it's gonna be another $70,000. Yes, it's not, they're claiming it's not for Fredonia, but if, as Rob said, if you put your name to it, that kind of ties you to it. Now, I recently attended county legislature board meeting when the budget was passed, including the water budget for North County Water District, which runs at a deficit, and yet they still owe the taxpayer in the general fund more than $5.5 million plus interest. They claim they're going to somehow come up with the money at some point, but they didn't know if it was going to happen this year or next year. If it happened this year, it would have significantly reduced the tax levy. Now, looking at water rates, I looked up the Chadwick Bay intermunicipal water rates, and the CBI, which does the billing for North County Water District, charges $65 for the first 4,000 gallons and $9.60 for every 1,000 after that. So your first 4,000 gallons is costing you $12.26 per 1,000. It's a lot of money. If you base that against what Fredonia is paying right now, it costs us about $900,000 a year more. Dunkirk currently charges $5.16 per 1,000, which would run the Fredonia about $500,000 or more per year if we went with them. But Dunkirk is also in a financial disaster like the county. Dunkirk is currently running at, I checked, at about $500,000 to $1 million deficit in their budget on their water department. They have to raise those rates considerably, just as the county has to raise the rates, because the county is running a deficit in their budget, as I said, and they owe the taxpayers a lot of money. That doesn't go away. If you want to work with them, guess who's going to pay for our debt? We're going to pay for our own debt back to us, or their debt back to us, somehow like that, anyhow. Now the hospital coming in, I keep hearing, I even heard it when I was up at the county legislature, legislators, Terry Nebo, they were going to say we're going to be happy with this. They want to take over the hospital's water sales. And just real quick, I'm just going to finish up, if you don't mind. The hospital, in the seeker of on the hospital plan, says that the hospital will be using approximately, have a demand of 30,000 gallons per day. That's an increase to our water production of about between 2 and 3%. That's going to increase their costs per year by about $30,000 above what we would be charging them at what we work at our costs right now. And our costs are pretty darn close to what our revenues this year, based on the rates we have right now, should put us right on mark, maybe slightly. We have a little bit more in revenues than our expenditures.
Thank you. James Sedota, Fredonia.
Thank you. I just have a couple of questions. I know you can't answer them, but I'll ask them anyways. I've read a couple of occasions where this proposal with joining the town of Pomfret, we're going to save $17 million in capital costs. And that number does appear on the Labella report as part of alternate 3. So I assume that's, when you're throwing that number out, that's what you're comparing it to. My question is, first of all, the Labella report really needs to be updated, as I understand. There's a big change in the amount of water loss. They used 480 million gallons of water in their proposals, which was about a 43% water loss increase. And now it's around, now this is what I understand, I don't know if this has to be confirmed, but I heard it was around 17%, which is really good comparative, because there's always going to be a water loss. But anyway, well, that's a significant reduction in what's actually produced out of the plant. So my question to Labella would be, does that change the construction costs for alternate one, updating the plant, and part of that was to expand the spillway. And I think I'm suggesting to you that you ask them to update that. It was a preliminary report to begin with, and that should be reviewed and updated. Also, it also affects the cost of alternate 3, because we were going to buy water from Dunkirk, and it was at that high water loss rate. So you need to do the comparison, I would think. So I'm not arguing one way or the other. My position is take the cheapest, the least expensive alternate, assuming that you're going to have a good water supply and good water quality. So that's pretty much where I'm coming from. The difference between alternate 1 and alternate 3, by the way, in the Labella report, these are not my numbers. They used a 30-year average cost difference, which was around $840,000 per year. And the alternate 3, which is what you had adopted and wanted to go forward with, was actually more, that was the figure that was more than alternate 1. Now, I don't know if you're aware of that or not. The report wasn't real clear. They used 30-year average. Well, I went through the Schedule J and ran the numbers on that, and I mean, and just confirmed that, yeah, that's what the numbers were. 6.4 million per year for alternate 3 and 5.4 million for alternate 1. So I just bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandreo, go ahead.
One of the resolutions for adoption tonight is renewal of the Labella contract. And I reviewed, if it's the same contract that was signed last year, there was no termination date in the contract. It was open-ended. We don't, wherever you sign a contract, you should have a termination date. Anyways, the contract requires the village to designate a person who's authorized to act on behalf of the village. However, the village board, with information from our treasurer, should be first informed of the proposed project and the estimated costs and agree to any work to be performed by the engineer. A letter from the engineer outlining the scope and estimated cost of the project is needed. That way, the village has control over its expenditures and whether the engineering fees are within the village budget. The contract only requires notices from Labella concerning a village project to be given only to the village designated representative. Such notices should also be forwarded to the mayor and village board to keep them informed. And another paragraph designated assignment. That section prohibits the village from assigning any benefit under the contract without Labella's consent. Yet Labella is given permission in the contract to use the service of other persons or entities outside of Labella's firm without village consent. What will it cost the village to use outside firms to assist Labella? The village should have the right to first agree to any third-party performing services that Labella would perform. And the village should also retain the right to agree to the cost of retaining the third party. Another section on confidentiality. Any confidential village or proprietary information of the village should be returned to the village or destroyed as the village may direct. The Labella contract doesn't give this right to the village and allows Labella to make that decision. Under paragraph instruments of service, this paragraph states that all drawings, reports, etc. prepared by LaBelle remain the property of LaBelle, and the village cannot reuse this information which has been paid by the village without first obtaining the written consent of LaBelle. There's also a section on suspension of the engineer's work, which requires payment for all engineering services up to the date of suspension. This section should recite payment for only services satisfactorily completed prior to suspension. It also requires that the village pay LaBelle after 3 months of suspension for all costs related to the suspension, such as maintaining their staff, storage of documents, and many other costs. The section on termination states that the contract can only be terminated for cause. The village always needs to retain the clear right to terminate the contract at any time it feels it's in the best interest of the village to do so. After termination, the village can then pay the engineer for services the village determines was satisfactorily completed prior to the date of termination. What is the term of the new contract? 1 year, 2 years? No date is given. Did our attorneys review this contract?
They have.
Second question I have is, what about the tax bills, Mayor? Now, you say they have given you a letter saying that the contract's in order? Have they written to the village and provided
We
you
have
with a
not
letter?
received that yet, no.
So you haven't received a formal
No.
approval? Okay. Second is about the tax bills. You want to make some revision to that to show additional information?
Breakdown, yeah. Break it down
Breakdown.
so we're showing where people's tax dollars are going.
On the tax bill?
Yes, sir. It's
Isn't that
most
done in the
communities.
budget?
It's done in the budget, but it's also done in many communities' annual bills.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never seen that
Yeah.
before. The county Department of Finance prepares our tax bills,
Right.
and they have a certain format they go by. We don't prepare the tax bills.
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm glad to see that, that car that missed you.
I'm glad you
I
witnessed that,
understand.
Mayor. Could have been a witness, just here.
There you go. Mark Twitchell, Fredonia.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like this board to nominate Sandra as attorney in absentia. It has been far too many meetings that seat over there, legal counsel, has been vacant. And I understand why, and I think most of us understand why that seat is vacant. The resolutions to cover the expenses of the DPW. There's only one resolution here. It's the second one that isn't itemized. $717 to mechanic work done by Eastbound Express, authorized by the street department. All of the other resolutions for paying the DPW's bills are itemized very specifically. Why is this one not specified? I believe that this resolution should be tabled until we have a thorough explanation of what this expense was for. This is pretty common in many other small municipalities that I had the privilege of attending the board meetings on. They spend an inordinate amount of time on how to repair the dump truck. Well, it needs a radiator. Well, if we get a new one versus a repair, here it's just crickets. And the last thing I have is the fact that this meeting hasn't been covered by live television streaming for at least a couple months. And I wasn't going to speak to this until I saw the impressive crowd of civic students in attendance. And I think everyone that's sitting in these first two rows understands the importance of a legitimate media coverage for what the government is doing. And I'm not prepared to speak to why we no longer have that streaming. I believe that it represents a deterioration in the quality of services that this village provides to its citizens. And furthermore, I have a rhetorical question especially for our civic students. Who benefits in the government when a free exchange of information is not provided to the citizens? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Drayo, it was just brought to my attention, Town of Pomfret itemizes all their tax bills.
What do you mean by itemized?
In other words, as take the top, what your tax portion is, and it breaks it down as to where that's being utilized.
Well, that's the town and the county.
Correct. People will find is no one likes their village taxes to go up, But in comparison to all the taxes we pay as residents of Chautauqua County, your village tax is the smallest portion of it. So, with that closes the public portion. We have no more speakers at this time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Correspondence.
Correspondence was received from the John Spaghetti House notifying the village that they will be renewing their on-premise liquor license for property located at 26-30 West Main Street, Fredonia, New York, 14063. Correspondence dated October 23rd, 2024 was received from Mayor Ferguson recommending reappointments to the Fredonia Cable Board.
Be it resolved that the recommendations to reappoint Alex Wilazinski, Madison Street, Fredonia, and David Friedman, Chestnut Street, Fredonia, to the Fredonia Cable Advisory Board for a 2-year term is hereby approved. Both reappointments shall expire October of 2026.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Brockway.
Aye.
I received 2 emails last week from residents that I'd like to read now. Dear Fredonia Village Mayor and Trustees, today I learned that the annual Halloween parade is not happening in 2024. It really is a shame, as a trunk or treat does not come close to as a replacement. I've attended the annual Fredonia Halloween parade since I was a little girl, and I was looking forward to sharing it with my daughter this year for the first time. It would seem to me that the village would want to maintain family-friendly traditions going back 30+ years that are right downtown in the village square, as these are sort of events that bring community, even those families without children, together. To be clear, I have no problem with the trunk or treat, but it's targeted toward a very specific subset of the community, and it's also tucked away in Russell Joy Park and easy for people to miss. As a side note, not everyone participates on Facebook, so other channels of communication in a timely manner is always appreciated. I only learned about there not being a parade when I called the clerk's office to inquire about the details of what I had hoped would be happening again this year. I hope the village considers bringing back the parade next year and keeping it as an annual event for everyone to enjoy. Thank you for your time and consideration, Amanda Vink. Greetings. We are writing to express our disappointment in finding the annual Halloween parade has been canceled in lieu of a trunk or treat event this year. The annual Halloween parade was one of those hometown events that we have participated in since we moved to Fredonia in 1992. Our children look forward to it and often participated in the parade as members of scouting troops were equally disappointed that this tradition has been discontinued. We were looking forward to continuing this tradition with our grandchildren. Please reconsider this decision and reinstate the parade for the future. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Cheryl and Robert Rogers. And that's all.
Before we go any further, just because we have a lot of guests in the room tonight, and it's unusually warm this evening, there is a water cooler in the hallway if you get thirsty or a little lightheaded. It's always best to, fire chief's here, so if you get lightheaded, we'll find you some service. I don't know if he's trained though, we'll find out. I will say in defense, I want to thank the trustee Twitchell and also Kayla. The trunk or treat had a record attendance this year, to the point that not only the police but the fire had to direct traffic. We had a record number of participants with over 40 tents and tables that were set up. We do know the importance of the parade. I'm going to volunteer somebody near and dear to my heart to help next year, but I haven't asked her yet, so. We will
When's
talk
the
about
last time
next
that we even had a parade? Because it's
Before
It's been a
COVID.
couple of years, yeah.
Yeah.
COVID had a big
Yeah.
part in canceling it, yeah.
But it is a good part, but it was not in lieu of trunk or treat. Trunk or treat's been going on, but we certainly respect and appreciate everybody's opinion on that. Trustee reports, Trustee Wandell.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor. Should have updates on next board meeting.
Trustee Syracuse.
Happy First Responders Day to our police and fire, and that's it.
Okay. Trustee Esperson.
Yeah, I was pleased to participate in the Harvest Moon Tour along with a member of the audience who was pleased, I'm sure, to play my deceased wife. Thank you for your participation. Participated in Trunk or Treat Saturday, and as the mayor said, there was a record number of of attendees there. It was only supposed to go from 11 to 1, but at 1 o'clock the line was still way out the Russell Joy Park. Went to the ribbon cutting ceremony for Family Health Medical Services the other day. I attended a North County Water District meeting because I wanted to ask a question. After speaking with Eric, the engineer for the town of Pomfret, he informed me that the modeling would indicate what size tower we would need if we were going to do a joint tower with the village or with the town of Pomfret. The modeling would show what size tower we needed. So my question to the North County Water District was, is that something, because some of the funds are available now to the North County Water District, if they would have a conversation with Labella to talk about getting that started, because we all know the town of Pomfret is ready to go to work and start putting in the infrastructure for the water tower now. And even Trustee Twitchell 3 months ago said that she agreed that sharing the water tower with the town of Pomfret would be a good idea. She would be in favor of that. So no matter what direction we go in the long run of the water, a shared tower would be to benefit all of us and could potentially save considerable funds for the village. And I'm going to have to say a couple of other things. Former trustee Linden keeps saying that we spent $144,000 on a study. We did not spend that on a study. That was the cost of it. That wasn't our cost.
That was the cost.
That was a cost study, but we didn't spend it, okay? The study that you proposed would have cost more than what we ended up paying for the study. And I think you need to keep that in mind, which I think is pretty ironic. The preliminary report will be updated by Labella when they do the study. And I think, Jim, you asked me that. That's part of their proposal to upgrade, to update the preliminary report. So that's part of that. And that's all I have to say.
And there's also concerns that part of that study would address things like water pressure, because our water pressure is, from what I'm told, is far greater from us than coming in. So those studies would address those situations as well. Trustee Brockman?
Nothing at this time.
Trustee Twitchell?
Yes, I did attend the Dunkirk-Fredonia football game, and I was working on the chain gang, and I found it to be a really good game, and I know Fredonia played their hearts out, and I just want to congratulate them on a well-played game. And I also attended the Northern Chautauqua County Water District, as John said, and I do have a report about that. I attended the water board meeting of the Northern Chautauqua County Water District last Thursday. I wanted to understand how the district is to repay the taxpayers of Chautauqua County the $5 million which they loaned to the district incrementally over a period of several years, prior to the county legislators' approval of that spending just 2 months ago. A roll call of board members included 3 county legislators and representatives from the towns of Dunkirk, Portland, Sheridan, and the village of Brockton. Although the town of Pomfret is a member of the Water District, there is no sitting member from the town, with the exception of Town Supervisor Dan Pecos, who also serves as chairman of the district board. A public comment period followed the opening protocol prior to the board's attention to the agenda. The first to speak was the City of Dunkirk Director of Public Works, Randy Woodbury, who expressed concerns that the city's water filtration plant was being considered for sale. County legislator Terry Nebel had recently toured the plant after suggesting that the district might consider buying the plant in an effort to relieve Dunkirk taxpayers of their financial problems. Mr. Woodbury stated that the mayor of Dunkirk was not in favor of selling the plant. He also stated that the city has a 40-year contract to provide water to the district, and the city's water filtration plant would be valued between $250 million and $1 billion. A resident of the town of Dunkirk, Jay Warren, who had previously served on the district board, asked for clarification on the repayment of the $5 million county loan and requested an itemized statement of expenses covered by the loan. Mr. Pecos responded that each municipal entity belonging to the district will be responsible for a portion of the repayment. The repayment by each municipality will be based on an estimate of water usage, since the district's distribution network does not contain meters dedicated to individual municipalities. Mr. Pecos stated there is no time schedule for repayment. Mr. Pecos explained that the district intends to go to bond for repayment and continued infrastructure construction after it receives grant money, which has been pending for some years. Also during the public comments, Fredonia trustee John Esperson asked if someone from the district would contact Labella to ask if the hydraulic analysis of the new Labella study could begin prior to the district obtaining all of the $70,000 payment required for the study. Since the county legislators have approved $20,000 to be given to the district to pay Labella. District Clerk Kathy Tampio agreed to ask Labella if they would proceed with that portion of the study. Following public comments, the board turned its attention to resolutions for various district payments for service rendered. This provided an opportunity for local district board members to comment on the plan to repay the county's $5 million loan. In turn, each of the town representatives and the Brockton representatives expressed concerns with the requirement for their municipality to repay the debt. Town of Dunkirk Supervisor Priscilla Penfold stated that previous Supervisor Richard Pearl would never have agreed to the town's liability for repayment of debts incurred by the district. Supervisors Lewis from Portland and Wick from Sheridan each described uncertainties over the functionality of water storage tanks in relation to unmetered water use in their towns. Mayor Miller of Brockton questioned the village's responsibility for the debt in recognition of the prison's chronically late reimbursement to the village for water use. Eric Wise from the district engineering company Clark Patterson Lee gave a progress report on district water connections. Mr. Wise stated that all current district water connections are working. Chairman Pecos asked Mr. Wise if the connection which failed to function during the latest Village of Fredonia boil water order is now working. When Mr. Wise responded that it is, Mr. Pecos asked if the village is aware of this. I responded no, but I was contradicted by County Department of Health Representative Natalie Whiteman, who is in attendance. Ms. Whiteman stated that she has notified the Fredonia Village Board Water Committee of the connection status. The next meeting adjourned about an hour after opening. The next meeting of the district is November 14th, and I would like to say that that's a public meeting. Anybody is welcome to go to it. It's going to be in the town of Dunkirk at 4 o'clock. My observations from attending this meeting reinforces my previously stated opinion that signing a new contract with the district without retaining our own water infrastructure is a bad idea for Fredonia. My response to statements by Mr. Woodbury is to notice the resistance of the City of Dunkirk officials to lose their citizen-owned water resource, in contrast to Fredonia officials who see no value in ours. I'm sympathetic to the participating district municipalities forced to assume repayment of the county's loan, and that their repayments are based on usage estimates in the absence of water meters. Either officials at 4 of these governments did not understand the contracts they signed, or something since has changed. There was no expression of discomfort from the 5th member municipality, Pomfret. If the Village of Fredonia joins the district, our taxpayers would become the largest donors to the county repayment based on our water usage. The district's financial model is to use grants in order to qualify for a bond, which would eventually allow for repayment of the county's loan. The district is having years-long difficulty in securing the necessary grants. Yet Fredonia officials have stated the reason we can't maintain our water resources is because we can't get grants. I'm disappointed that our water committee did not share the good news that our previously non-functional district connection is now functional. I suggest that the connection be tested by our own DPW to certify it will work the next time we may need it. I urge my colleagues on this board and the Fredonia voting public to become more familiar with the workings of the North County Water District. They then would have a clear understanding of the liabilities of the district membership. Thank you.
Just to clear it up, we, if we were to join the North County Water District, would not incur any of those costs. Those costs are incurred by communities that have been involved in the North County Water District when the loan was taken out. Fredonia would not incur any of that cost.
Well, there's not.
Repaying that loan.
Okay, I understand that, but there's no saying in how much more money they're gonna have to borrow.
No, there's not.
And if
Or
we
how much
become
money we're
members,
gonna have to borrow.
we will be responsible to pay. Thank you.
Thank you. I skipped over my report, which I didn't have last week, so we'll bring that up. This goes back to a second, we met with Richard Goodman to discuss downtown business possibilities for the village. Also on that date appeared on WDOE Viewpoint Show. On the third, met with Alexander Madem about a possible benefits package program that could be included in some of our contract negotiations we're doing right now. On October 4th, participated in the Fredonia High School Homecoming Parade, which was a couple of weeks back. And on the 7th, as a board member of the new Central Hall project, met with fellow board members on financial updates for the renewal program. It's a project that's on Central Avenue right now. October 10th, I was invited to take part in the grand opening of the Beyond Support Network, a new business offering training and possible employment opportunities. Some of their people have special needs. The offices are located in 183 East Main Street, Suite 106 in Fredonia. We invited our residents to tour their new offices to see what they have to offer. I had a chance to talk to several of their graduates, and just wonderful folks and a wonderful opportunity and a new business in the village of Fredonia. October 7th and 18th, I was a member of the cast of the annual Harvest Moon Cemetery Tour, the historic Forest Hill Cemetery. And I can see some of the people that were here in various positions. God bless you, by the way, for laying down on the cold land as a dead person for a better part of 6 hours a day for 2 straight days. And also having to put up with Trustee Asperson's wild wit during the course of the event. It was a lot of fun. 19th, attended the Sunshine Monte Carlo fundraiser prior to my commitment at the cemetery tour. October 22nd, met with a new Jamestown company. They'll be opening a second location of their offering in our downtown core. More information will be following with that. Asked Deputy Mayor and Trustee John Esperson to present a proclamation and speak on my behalf at the new office of the Family Health Medical Services on October 24th. Also a new business in our downtown core once again, 3780 Eagle Street in the village. We welcome Dr. Mativa Whitmore and her staff to the community. They are providing even more health coverage for people within the village. On the 25th, I addressed the graduating class of Goodwill's career training program. I'm sure many of you didn't even know that the training program exists. It trains young adults to work in the manufacturing sector and actually become leaders and possible supervisors in those sectors. Desperately need to fill those positions in manufacturing in Chautauqua County. The event was held at the JCC North Training Center. Also on the 25th, I met with Dunkirk Mayor Kate Dobiez, South Ball Signs owner Cody Britton, and the coaches of both Fredonia Hillbillies and the Dunkirk Marauders to present the inaugural Central Connection Mayor's Cup. The Marauders won the 131st edition of this classic football rivalry and won the opportunity to host the trophy in their city until next year, when we expect the Hillbillies will have it for several years after that. The amount of sportsmanship shown throughout the game by both teams was really enjoyable to watch and very encouraging. I also want to thank Cody Britton of South Paw Signs for donating that very sizable trophy. It will continue to grow, much like the Stanley Cup, as the years go on, and highlight what truly is one of the classic rivalries in local football. We also want to thank Kayla and her staff at the rec department, a record-setting event just this weekend for Trunk or Treat. Thank you for all who attended. We want to thank the fire department, police department for their help as well. Also had the chance Friday to attend the soft opening of the new Monster Beach Brewery, which will take the position of Ellicville Brewing Company at the beginning of the first of the year. And that is it. So that's the end of my report. We'll switch to the treasurer's report. The treasurer had an emergency today. Would not be able to attend, but all the trustees, you have copies of that report. Do we have any additional reports? Code
Yes.
enforcement?
Code enforcement report for the month of September 2024. Building permits issued 32, inspections 42, certificates of occupancy 17, certificates of compliance 25, violations found 3, violations satisfied 2. Fees collected, permit fees $3,389, rental fees $1,450, certificate of compliance fees $505, zoning fees $250 for a total of $5,089. Rental inspections 18, rental renewals 29. Property maintenance found 6, property maintenance removed 5. Annual fire inspections 8, fire notifications 1, appearance tickets 1, complaints 5, 4 of those were satisfied, demolitions 1, stop work orders 1. 32 permits generated $3,389 in revenue. The estimated cost of work for the month of August was $487,537. That's all I have.
I'd also like to commend the code enforcement office, as well as the Fredonia Police Office and the firefighters. After many complaints, we were able to not only vacate, but condemn 18 Liberty Street and remove people that have been living there illegally. So it's our continued attempt to clean up some of the few issues that we have within the village. They responded quickly, professionally, saved some pets. Unfortunately, one animal was found passed in the house. But we want to thank code enforcement. We want to thank the police department for fast action on this complaint. And again, keeping our community informed of what's happening in your backyard. Many times you think things may or may not be addressed, but they're addressed in a legal and timely fashion as quickly as we can. So we're very proud of what they were able to do. Saddened by the situation. Resolutions.
Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $37.68 to Amazon for binder dividers purchased by the fire department. Do I need to read the be it resolved every time?
Yes, you do, sir.
I do?
Just
Okay.
because we love your voice, Ben.
Well, then we'll do it.
It's very soothing voice.
Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $717.50 for mechanic work done by Eastbound Express, authorized by the street department. Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $92.64 to Supply for a water curb box, authorized by the street department. Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $482.33 to Beck Electric for the takedown of a light pole on Castile Drive, authorized by the street department. Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $16 to Douglas Bunn for engine oil, authorized by the street department. Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $60 to Maidenford for the replacement of a U-bolt, authorized by the street department. Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $4.21 to Advantage Fredonia for a carburetor and choke cleaner, authorized by the street department. Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment of $68.74 to James B. Thompson for an oxygen cylinder, authorized by the street department.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
I would like a further explanation of what truck needed the $717.50 mechanic work. If we could get that, I will approve of this.
We had that discussion
On Wednesday's
on
workshop.
Wednesday. Scott explained to
It
us
should
what
be
happened.
listed. in
Okay, well, you
the-
said you wanted an explanation, and we discussed it on
Right.
Wednesday, and he explained it.
Right, but
That's-
it should be stated in here what truck it was.
You can still vote no if you didn't want to.
I would like to have the other bills paid. That's what I'm up against right now.
It's either a yes or no for the group at this point.
Okay, I'll say yes at this time, but I would like that spelled out in the resolution for next time.
Noted. Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
And Trustee Esperson, already? Okay, we like it twice.
Yeah.
And Ben, thank you very much for the be it resolved. You did a great job. Next.
Whereas the village has been reviewing the options to continue providing water to residents through its own water system, or to explore the options that could be provided by other municipal groups. Whereas Labella PLLC, Buffalo, New York, provided a proposal to perform the initial study of the North County Water District selling water to the village. Whereas the proposal is necessary for the village's purpose, will be of no cost to the village of Fredonia. Therefore, be resolved, the village board hereby supports the North County Water District's decision to retain Labella to conduct an additional evaluation and miling study, proposal number P240428, to evaluate the feasibility of a connection from the North County Water District to the village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Brauchler.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
I want to vote nay on this resolution because I'm disappointed but not surprised at this board's latest attempt to mislead the public in its efforts to dismantle Fredonia's water infrastructure. The first whereas falsely states that the village has, quote, been reviewing the options to continue providing water to residents throughout its own water system, end quote. Yet board members have stated publicly that they have already decided to close the citizens-owned water facilities.
That is so untrue.
Having already made their choice, this board is merely considering which optional water source they prefer. This board and the mayor have made this choice without a cost-benefit analysis, while offering various substantiated cost savings and estimates for the unnecessary dredging of the reservoir. I suggest we begin to study and prioritize the necessary improvements to our water system to provide everyone with a true alternative to decommissioning. The second whereas states that an additional study is to be performed by Labella to consider the North County Water District selling water to the village. This fails to specify how much water the district is to sell. The facts are the district already is contracted to sell water to the village, and that the existing contract has not been honored by the district. I suggest that we review the existing contract prior to signing a new one. The third whereas states that the study will be done at no cost to the village without stating who will bear the cost. We know that the district has pledged a portion of the cost. We are to assume there is no contingency such that the district's pledge is to be honored only in the event that this board approves the new contract with the district. The city of Dunkirk made a similar offer to pay a portion of the $144,000 cost of the 2023 Labella study, only to withdraw its pledge when this board abandoned the Dunkirk option. I'd like to see a statement by Labella that they will not bill the village for any portion of the study not covered by the district or the state. While other entities may be paying for this study, we should expect that the study's conclusions will favor those who paid the cost, not the users of Fredonia's water system. A vote for this resolution confirms that this board does not want their constituents to know the true value of their resources before they are abandoned, or even the cost of their abandonment. And that's, I am voting nay on this.
Before we go any further on that, for easily the 10th time, The study was paid for, $20,000 coming from the North County Water District, $50,000 coming from a joint effort from Senator Borrello and Assemblyman Andy Goodell. The county had ARPA funds. Senator Goodell has money that has to be spent by the end of the year. So that money is of no additional cost to us. Secondly, unnecessary dredging. This community has been asked 17 times to dredge that reservoir. And now is the main reason why the dam is considered uninsurable.
That's not true.
And that it's fact.
No, the
But
reasons
it's
why
not
it's
true.
considered
That's
high
not
hazard is because
I think we're getting
of
off
where
track
the
here.
intake valve is. So in order to have not a high hazard dam, you need to be able to drain your water source a certain amount within a certain amount of time. And
I don't
because
think
of where
you're
our
understanding it.
intake valve is and where our intake pipes are, there is no way for us to physically, and the size of it, drain that much water ever, and certainly not within the amount of time that they specify. That is why we are a
That's
high
not true.
hazard dam.
I'm sorry.
Can we
Trustee Syracuse.
go on with voting for
Can we
the,
go on with
for the
voting? I don't-
resolution
but
that was
Okay.
You were not
proposed?
correct. I'll just
Trustee
say
Brockler,
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Heartily aye.
Okay.
Good.
Trustee Esperson.
A no vote to this study is a kick in the pants to every resident that will not know that will not know how much money we could save if we were to hook up with the North County Water District. We might not save anything.
And they're doing such a fabulous
Do
job.
you mind if I finish? We might not save anything, but we won't know unless the study is done. A study that,
That they're paying for.
who's paying for it?
Yeah. The county. They would love for us to
Okay, so
join.
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you were a business, would you say, I want to go down this path, right? You're an engineer. That will
Why are
cost
we
you $20,000.
even debating this, John? I read my report and I stand by it. If you want a copy of it, I'll give it to you.
I've got a copy of it.
Bottom line is, pass 4-1. Next resolution.
Be it resolved that the request from Louis Fred to send Jeff Lascola to Western New York Water Works Fall Workshop, October 30th, 2024, at Woodlawn Volunteer Fire Company Conference Center, Buffalo, New York, at no cost to the village is hereby approved.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye. Whereas the Village of Fredonia issued a request for proposals to solicit qualification proposals for engineer of record for the Village of Fredonia, and whereas the proposals were evaluated based on examples of similar work, experience, and technical expertise and cost effectiveness, and whereas the village wishes to continue the contract with Labella and Associates, now therefore be it resolved, the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the master professional services agreement between the village and Labella Associates for professional services to be provided to the village as needed.
I'll second that.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Nay.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the village treasurer to break down and itemize all future village tax bills.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Be it resolved that Daniel Aldrich, Webster Road, Fredonia, New York, is hereby permanently appointed to the position of fire captain of the Village of Fredonia Fire Department at a rate of $43.49 hourly, effective immediately.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
I'm sorry that Alyssa's not here to ask her the question if we have this in our budget.
We do, he's been paid that already. This is just making him permanently.
Making it official? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll vote aye then.
Okay. Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Be it resolved that Douglas Bunge, West Main Street, Fredonia, New York, is hereby permanently appointed to Labor Supervisor with the Village of Fredonia Department of Public Works at a rate of 31.26 hourly, effective immediately.
I'll second it, and I will state again that he's been paid that, he's just gonna be permanently appointed to that position.
And why these questions aren't being asked in workshop when it's the appropriate time to ask them?
You know what, that isn't needed, I'm
Beyond.
sorry.
Okay, trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if there's no reason to go.
You gotta
There's
go on.
another walk-on.
Oh, there's one.
Yeah,
Remember that.
Be it
There's
resolved,
actually two.
be it resolved that pursuant to Section 5520 of Village Law, the following budget transfers are hereby approved. $8,700 from G8130.417 wastewater equipment repairs to G8130.49 wastewater vehicle maintenance.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Whereas the village requires the repairs to the dump truck at the wastewater treatment plant, whereas Rexford Service Inc. Dump of New York provided a quote to replace the DPF filter, outlet module, kingpin set, inspection labor for $8,215.39. Whereas the repairs are necessary to pass inspection and necessary for the village's purpose, therefore be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the cost of the DPF filter, outlet module, kingpin set, inspection labor for $8,215.39 to Rexford Services, Inc.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if there's no reason to go into executive session, I ask for a motion to close tonight's meeting.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. The next Village of Fredonia workshop will be Wednesday, November 6th at 9 a.m. in the trustee room, second floor of Village Hall.